What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing. Great night of boxing. I didn't get to catch all the fights. I still got to watch the Vanes and Andrade fight, as well as Nonito and Victor Chinian. I was at the movies. I went to see Thor Part 2. I'm just getting over the sickness, and I felt like getting out of the house, so I went on a little date, seen Thor 2. Make sure you guys stay to the end. Like on all Marvel movies, they have the little snippet at the end of the credits. Thor was good. I liked it. Um, I did see Mikey Garcia. I watched the 2 days special, and I also watched the HBO 24/7 with Manny Pacquiao and Brandon Rios, the first installment of that. And that's what this video is about. 24/7. It's a great series, even with the departure of some celebrated boxers who moved to Showtime. 24/7 has still been interesting. Great narration, great cinematography, great storylines. So I thoroughly enjoy it. Um, in this episode, they kind of depicted the early, like preliminary stuff, the meetup, the promotional tour in China, where Brandon Rios and Manny Pacquiao were in the Great Wall of China and doing their press stops. Brandon Rios was saying he's never been on a stage and he's nervous because of all the people, and then they quickly got into just the overall fights. I really like how HBO 24/7 has been depicting it. On the Marquez Bradley, they kind of show the Marquez perspective of the Pacquiao knockout. And on this one, we're able to see the Pacquiao perspective of himself getting knocked out, which was pretty cool if you watch the 24/7 for Bradley and Marquez, and then you watch this one. You'll get to see that same fight and that knockout from both sides, in essence. So they had Pacquiao, who was talking about it from his perspective. Um, he's taking it pretty calm. Jinky and Pacquiao were, well, really Jinky was saying that they kind of joke about it, make little like harmless jokes about him getting knocked out, which was kind of weird to me. But shit, if that's what you and your bitch do, I mean, so be it. I'd be mad if my chick was making jokes about me getting knocked out. Like, man, you remember Ego, you got knocked out at the mall? Remember you just felt like you felt like this? Like, I'd be pissed. But anyway, Pacquiao and his chick, that's how they get down, and that's what they joke about. So Pacquiao's taking it. He said losses come in the sport of boxing. You shouldn't be in the sport of boxing or any sport if you're not prepared to take a loss. It looks like he's willing to look towards the future and not remain in the past. He said what happened happened. Um, it was everything that I initially thought seems to be true. And what I mean by that is Pacquiao got knocked out because he got overconfident, and there was so much pressure on him to. He was saying it before the fight, and I knew that's exactly why he got knocked out after I seen him get knocked out. It was because he put a lot of pressure on himself. The media put a lot of pressure on Pacquiao. Freddie Roach put a lot of pressure on Pacquiao. And he even goes to say it in this 24/7. His main priority, and everyone that knew Pacquiao, they said his goal was to knock out Marquez. And that's exactly what he was saying. And that's why he himself got knocked out, because he got reckless and he got too overconfident, and he opened up against a accurate counterpuncher who hit him with a precise shot, and one right, good night. That's it. And it's really Pacquiao's fault for being reckless in that situation. You in the sport of boxing, you can't look for the knockout. And oftentimes when you do look for the knockout, something else that you don't see comes about. So Pacquiao should have just stuck to the game plan, and he might have been able to get Marquez out of there had he let the round expire. He had clearly won rounds 5 and 6 in my book. So the knockout might have come in the seventh round, eighth round, ninth round. It might not have come, but he shouldn't have been so eager, so desperate. But again, his camp, they made statements prior to the fight, and they wanted to cash on those checks. And I remember specifically Pacquiao before the fight was like, we want to rid the people, the doubt of the people, and that's exactly what he was trying to do, and he got knocked out for it. So it's good to see that other perspective. I see Marquez's perspective, like I said. Um, from Pacquiao, what he's saying, he's taking the loss and putting it in the past, and he's trying to move forward. And he says his boxing career is not over. However, in the sport of boxing, you could say anything you want. Roy Jones Jr. or whoever wants to probably say that they're still competitive and they could still be in competitive fights. But nature and your actual performance may suggest otherwise. So I'm really anxious to see how Pacquiao looks because, again, saying one thing, I've seen tons of interviews with, they're like, oh, I'm going to knock this person out, or I'll die in the ring before I let him knock me out, and then they get knocked out. So it's really going to be an eye test. I have to see how Pacquiao looks. And I really feel like it's going to go really one of two ways. Either he's going to look like this remarkable machine and just take Brandon Rios apart, or he's going to look like he's lost a piece. That's what I see. Like he's lost a step and he doesn't look like the same Pacquiao that we may have seen 4 years ago, 5 years ago. As far as Brandon Rios, a little bit more of the same. Some of the stuff that he was saying was also said on the face-off about boxing is his orgasm. And he said when he beat Alvarado, he's like, I busted a big fucking nut. So Brandon Rios is crazy. He's definitely uncensored. He's going to give it to you raw, unadulterated, and that's just him. So it's good to have people like that who are just down to earth, speak their mind, and they're not going to front for the cameras. I'd rather someone be who they are than to be like a politician or something and you act one way and behind closed doors you're like totally different. So props to Brandon Rios for just being open. And he was going in on the Alvarado rematch loss. He says he fell in love with knocking Alvarado out, and that was his main goal. And when it didn't happen, he just kind of rode the tide to a decision and lost. And he said that the loss was eating him up. He said it didn't suit him well. He doesn't like losing. And I could tell that too. I mean, a lot of the stuff that they showed on this, I can kind of tell. As far as like Pacquiao, he was being overconfident. I could tell you that just because everything that he said pre-fight was, oh, rid people of doubt and all that. And then Brandon Rios, I could tell he doesn't like to lose because he was cutting Alvarado off when Alvarado won. And he's like, fuck it, we can rematch right now. And he was like interrupting Max Kellerman while he was doing the Alvarado rematch. Another thing I could have told you, even without this 24/7, was Bob Arum in the selection process for Manny Pacquiao's comeback opponent, after being knocked out. They chose Brandon Rios because he's a come-forward fighter and he has an entertaining, action-packed style, and he's all offense. That's coming from the horse's mouth. Bob Arum is saying this on the 24/7. We chose Brandon Rios because he's an all-offense fighter. He's an action fighter. You're not going to have to... He's entertaining. He's entertainment. You're not going to have to go searching for him. He's going to bring the fight to you, and he's going to fight. It's not going to be lateral movement and that. So that's pretty much why Pacquiao chose this fight. Now, what transpires, we'll see. Like I said, I haven't done my prediction video yet, but they chose Brandon Rios. He's coming up in weight, and he's a come-forward fighter. So if Pacquiao is anything like he was in the past, then this is a fight that he should have in the can. But it's a big if. The big question mark, the big asterisk is how does Pacquiao recover after a brutal knockout? And that's what really makes this fight super intriguing. Brandon Rios is not the person you want to be in the ring with if you're not at your best. He's not the person you want to be in the ring with if you didn't have a successful training camp. He's not the person you want to be in the ring with if you just got knocked the fuck out and were unconscious in your last fight. I mean, he's relentless and he could take a punch. So it's going to get interesting. And I would honestly say that Brandon Rios is probably a better inside fighter than Pacquiao as well. Pacquiao is better from the outside. He has speed and he has the angles and the movement. Bah, 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 bah. But on the inside, I would say Brandon Rios is a better fighter. So if Brandon Rios can lure Pacquiao into that, and Pacquiao, I think one of his downsides is he is competitive and he is prideful and pretty macho, like in terms of like machismo. And if Brandon Rios can lure him into the wrong type of fight, this could get interesting. I really feel that way. I feel like it really can, because you have a younger fighter who could take a shot, and we've seen his power in the lower weight divisions, 35, 40. We don't know how he's going to look at 147, but he might be stronger. This might be a more comfortable weight for him to make. So things could get really interesting in this particular fight, which is why I really want to see it. And you never know. There's always people that rise to the occasion in these big moments and these big fights. Like, oh, he's never had a fight. This is the clash in Katati, and overseas. You know what I mean? Like anybody could rise to those occasions. Like Eminem said, you only have one shot. The moment you own it, like Brandon Rios might become a superstar that night, but he also might get pulverized. So, very interesting fight. I was entertained by the 24/7. Let me know what you guys think. Did you like it? Are you looking forward to this fight or the next episode? Leave a comment. Let me know what you guys really think. As always, hate, comment, or subscribe. Till next video, it's Ego signing off.